And then this came in a couple of days ago from our buddy John in upstate New York. He said, I wanted to send you some thoughts on the Horn's birthday, along with a small contribution. So here it is. John says, I've been listening for a decent chunk of your time on air. I started tuning in regularly via podcast in fall of 2007. As I've mentioned, I spent a good part of the time between 2007 and 2010 working in my lab, cleaning and typing and sorting artifacts from my dissertation research site. You can't imagine how mind-numbing that can become. Don't get me wrong, it was all interesting, and my mind was churning as I tried to make sense of 13,000 little bits of, well, trash from a century and a half ago. But once you've scraped dirt and rust off your 6,000th iron nail, it gets a bit tedious. The Horn got my mind turning in completely other directions, my blood racing. I laughed and cried along with everyone else in the little community. I'd caught your show earlier on Malloy's recommendation, but I never made a habit of listening. I'd tuned into Malloy, Peter Werby, and the Old Majority Report, and I still catch the other folks sometimes, but your show has become part of my life. There are several reasons, I think. First of all, I love hearing a Southern accent talk progressive politics. Where I come from, Southeast Texas originally, there's a joke that gay people are afraid to come out of the closet because other folks will think they're liberals. Let that one sink in for just a minute. It's the one blue county between Austin and Louisiana. Man, that's a lot of real estate. But even so, the politics are ugly. I've lived in Missouri and in Atlanta, too, and it's too easy to stereotype that accent as dirt, ignorant, and stupid mean. We both know that's not the whole story, so hearing your voice talk the way I think is bracing and rejuvenating. It's also refreshing to hear someone talk who's, well, smart. You have an inquisitive mind and a solid education, both formally and self-made, and crucially, you're not afraid to use them. I've got a brain and I'm not afraid to use it. Maybe that's a liner we need to cut. I don't know. I'm blushing here. Agnes is going to have to get the C-clamp out and squeeze my head back down to normal size. We seem, says John, to hate the idea of reason and critical thinking, or that history or politics or science is something you do, not something you learn. Reason and critical thought are missing from most of media, and they have a home at the Horn. But above all, I come to the Horn because of the community. It really is, as you say, conversation radio, unlike anything you've ever heard. Over the years, I feel like I've come to know people like Albert, Sandra, Juanita, the various and sundry Davids, Richard, Preston, Kevin, Luke, and the others that I'm leaving out for brevity, not lack of love. These other voices, free to travel down any conversational path they choose, are what sets the Horn apart, and they're what I treasure about the show. If I were to lose you, I'd be losing them also, and I honestly couldn't deal with that. The Horn can only exist in this form. I mean, it just wouldn't work on for-profit radio. This is a resource we need to nurture. Supporting the Horn is supporting the idea that community is important, and I'm increasingly convinced that community can't grow alongside a balance sheet or shareholders report. You know, I think I want to have that bronzed on something. Etched and bronzed. I'm increasingly convinced that community can't grow alongside a balance sheet or shareholders report. Those things are the enemy of community. Supporting this community is a way to live what we preach, a way to be the media, a way to say no to ignorance and stupidity and the idea of profit at all costs. I could say more, says John, like how you've educated me about mountain removal, allowing me to become a small activist against the Appalachian apocalypse in my own ways, and the semantic difference between environmental rights and human rights. But I'll leave it here. Here's hoping for 6 more years. I intend to pitch in to see that happens. Signed, John. Thank you, John. Thank you very much.